buckle up because we're about to dive into the tale of Still Wakes the Deep, a psychological horror game that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Set in the 1970s, this game oozes with atmosphere, from the authentic Scottish accents to the eerie soundtrack.
Shut your gob, you Ned prick! I am sick to fucking bouking of you wee gobshites messing with my operation.
The Chinese Room, the masterminds behind this psychological thriller, are no strangers to horror games. Previous titles include Dear Esther and Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. To make Still Wakes the Deep, the Chinese Room took inspiration from creepy films like The Thing, Annihilation, and The Poseidon Adventure. They also conducted a ton of research and even interviewed people who actually worked on oil rigs back in the day. They wanted to make sure that every little detail in the game felt authentic. Like you were really there in the 1970s, stuck on a Scottish oil rig with all sorts of spooky stuff going down. So what is this game about? Well, let's dive in. Now let's talk about our protagonist, Cameron Kaz McCleary. And this guy's got a lot on his plate. First off, Kaz is a family man, married to his lovely wife Suze, and blessed with 2 adorable daughters. But things start to go south when Kaz gets into a nasty fight with some dude named Billy Chamberlain. Kaz finds himself in a real pickle now because the Scottish police are after him and he's looking at some serious jail time. And if that wasn't bad enough, he might lose his family too. But wait, there's hope. Kaz's best buddy Roy comes to the rescue and hooks him up with a job on the Barra D oil rig.
I promise you, we will get this straightened out.
Now, I know what you're thinking, but Kaz doesn't know squat about the oil industry. And you're right, but desperate times call for desperate measures, my friend. So, Kaz packs his bags and heads off to the North Sea, hoping that this little adventure will buy him some time and maybe even get Billy to drop the charges. But let's be real, when has anything ever gone according to plan? As if things couldn't get any worse, Kaz's decision to run from the law is putting some serious strain on his marriage. Suze is not a happy camper, and she's even hinting at the big D word. That's divorce with a capital D.
I'm just saying this, Kaz. If you leave us, if you run, if you go, then we are done.
Yikes. But Kaz is determined to make it work. Not just for himself, but for his family too. He's got to survive this crazy job on the oil rig, deal with all the mysterious and spooky stuff happening there, and somehow find a way to redeem himself and save his marriage. As if Kaz didn't have enough problems, he soon finds out that the Barra D is a real piece of work. I'm talking poorly constructed, falling apart at the seams, and plagued with more issues than a celebrity in rehab. And to top it all off, the guy in charge of this floating death trap is a real piece of work. They call him Rennick, and let's just say he's not exactly winning any popularity contests. Despite all the red flags and warning signs, Rennick decides to push forward with this crazy drilling plan.
But he does not run things around here, I do. Do you understand me?
All right, why don't you just get on with it?
Don't you answer me back! You might be the height of shite on shore, McCleary, but out here, I am the fucking king. Do you understand me?
No.
You hear me? Fire.
And well, guess what? It all goes up in flames real quick. Picture this. Kaz and his fellow crew members are just minding their own business, trying to keep this rusty bucket afloat, when suddenly the whole place starts shaking like a Polaroid picture. Equipment flying, alarms blaring, and people screaming like they're on a roller coaster ride from Hades. And then the unthinkable happens. Kaz and a bunch of his coworkers get tossed around like rag dolls.
I don't want to die! I don't want to die! Jesus, just hang on! Fuck!
And end up taking an unplanned dip in the frigid North Sea. Miraculously, Kaz manages to survive this ordeal, but he's not out of the woods yet. Nope. Things are about to get a whole lot weirder. When Kaz finally drags himself back onto the rig, he finds that the place is in even worse shape than before. It's like the apocalypse hit while he was gone. But that's not even the creepiest part. Kaz starts noticing these freaky tendril-like growths all over the place, like some kind of alien invasion.
Fuck. Stuck fast.
But it gets worse. Turns out some of Kaz's coworkers got a little too close to the contaminated oil and started transforming into these grotesque, mutated creatures straight out of a horror movie. And these things are not friendly. They're on the hunt for the remaining crew, and they're not going to stop until they've had their fill of human sushi. So, what's a guy like Kaz to do in a situation like this? He teams up with his fellow survivors, Finley and Brody, to try and keep this floating nightmare from falling apart completely. They're running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to maintain power, stabilize the rig, and prevent a gas explosion that could turn the Beira D into a floating fireball. Oh, and did I mention they're also trying to avoid becoming monster food? And guess who else has joined the mutant party? That's right, our old pal Rennick. Looks like his bad decisions have finally caught up with him, and now he's a walking, talking, killing machine. So now Kaz and his crew of survivors are running trying to find a way off this floating death trap. Luckily, they run into lifeboats and a helicopter. Sounds like a solid plan, right? Wrong. Turns out the lifeboats are about as seaworthy as a paper boat in a hurricane. I mean, who would have thought that a poorly constructed rig would have shoddy escape vessels? It's almost like they didn't plan for a mutant monster invasion or something. Then Kaz suddenly remembers his best buddy Roy. You know, the guy who got him this gig in the first place. Kaz decides to play hero and goes off to rescue him because, let's face it, he owes him one. But when Kaz finally finds Roy, it's too late.
Talk to me, big man. Come on. Roy. Roy, wake up, you prick. Please wake up. Wake up, come on. Oh, you bastard. Don't leave me here. Please, big man, come on back. Christ, don't leave me. Roy, don't leave me. I can't do this, man. I'm scared, Roy. I'm fucking terrified. What am I going to tell Susan? I love this, big man. Do you hear me? I love them.
Turns out, Roy had a little something called diabetes, and without his insulin, he went into diabetic ketoacidosis. Basically, it means that poor Roy kicked the bucket while Kaz was off playing Monster Hunter. As if things couldn't get any more depressing, Kaz's other friends, Brody and Finley, decide to take matters into their own hands. Brody, bless his heart, sacrifices himself to keep the rig from sinking into the briny deep. And Finley, well, she's had just about enough of this nightmare and decides to blow the whole thing to Kingdom Come.
Finley. No. Come back. Finley!
But before Finley can go all Rambo on the rig, a bunch of falling machinery decides to play whack-a-mole. Ouch! And that's when Finley drops a bombshell on Kaz. He tells him that the only way to stop these mutant freaks from spreading their funky oil disease to the mainland is to destroy the rig. That's right, friends. It's time for a little controlled demolition. So now we arrive at the moment we've all been waiting for. The grand finale of this terrifying adventure on the Beira D. Kaz, being the brave, selfless, and slightly unhinged guy he is, makes the ultimate sacrifice. He decides to light up the Beira D like a Christmas tree, taking the mutant freaks down with him in a blaze of glory.
Sorry, Sus. So sorry.
As the flames engulf the rig and the creatures let out their final unholy screeches, Kaz's life flashes before his eyes. But instead of seeing his entire existence play out in chronological order, he focuses on the moments that truly mattered. He remembers the day he first laid eyes on his lovely wife, Suze, and how he knew right then and there that she was the one.
I fucking love you. I
love you more than anything in this whole world.
Did that fan pop? Well, you're not so bad yourself, all things considered.
Marry me.
What?
I'm serious. Marry me. We'll make beautiful Waynes. I want to spend my whole life with you.
He relives the birth of their two beautiful children and the overwhelming joy and love he felt in those moments. It's like a Hallmark movie.
Perfect.
She looks just like you.
Thank God for that. She's got your eyes, though.
Meanwhile, back in Scotland, Suze is blissfully unaware of the chaos that's unfolded on the Beara D. She's sitting at home, pen in hand, pouring her heart out in a letter to Kaz. She tells him how much she misses him and how she wants to work on their marriage. She's even hopeful that he'll return home safely with his best pal Roy. Little does she know that Roy is currently sleeping with the fishes, and Kaz is MIA.
I'm still raging at Roy, but he's a good man and I know he'll look after you. Whatever happens, we will be all right. We can weather this. Just wanted to say that to you, Kaz. To keep you safe and close and make sure you know to come home to us. I love you, Cameron McCleary. Be safe out there on those waters. My man. My love.
But the ending shows us the point of view of someone floating in the middle of the sea. So, maybe Kaz has survived after all? Guess we'll have to wait for the sequel to find out. So, there you have it, friends. The epic tale of Cameron Kaz McCleary and his ill-fated adventure on the Beara D. It's a story of love, loss, and the lengths we'll go to for the people we care about. And if that doesn't tug at your heartstrings, then I don't know what will. Because if there's one thing Still Wakes the Deep has taught us, it's that life is short. And you never know when a mutant monster might come knocking at your door. If you enjoyed this story explanation, remember to like this video. Subscribe if you loved it, and let me know in the comments what other game stories you would like me to cover next. See you on the next one, friends.
Stop with us. Fuck's sake, McCleary. For once in your life, be brave. Be brave for them.